folded in a black van. I'm a black man with these Mexicans.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.H. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And we are back for another one. Alright, y'all. Quick new topic. Fight breakdown. Does Terence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. have superior punching power? Alright, y'all. So, whose punching power is superior out of these two fighters? Is it Errol Spence Jr.? Is it Terence Bud the Crawford? Alright, you know, this should really be an easy simple topic, but it's you know, fight fans make everything difficult for some reason. I don't know why. But simply put, I mean, obviously, even the average boxing fan, if you watch, you know, their last two fights, if you watch their whole career, but if you watch their last two fights, that should give you all the information you need to know about punching power and who has the superior punching power. Terence Crawford, you know, a lot of people believe that he's a great puncher, that he possesses knockout power, that he has the power to do the same things that Errol Spence Jr. does in the boxing ring. But I beg to differ, because if you look at Terence Crawford's whole boxing career, if you go from 130 to 140 to 147, at no point in those three different weight classes was Terence Crawford known as a knockout puncher or a puncher who possessed the power to break bones. Now, bone-breaking power, bone-shattering power is very rare in a boxer, especially at this weight class. At 147, you don't find too many guys that are out here breaking orbital bones, that are out here breaking ribs, that are out here breaking jaw bones. Stuff like that is very rare in a fighter. Now, knockout power, you know, many fighters have knockout power. Manny Pacquiao was, for as small as he was an above average puncher. He's a superior puncher. He had superior punching power. He had bone breaking punching power. He did it to Margarito. He did it to Miguel Cotto. He knocked Ricky Hatton out cold. Those are superior punching power. And it's not just the way he throws a punch. It's not just the fact that his hand speed is so quick. It's not just the fact that his foot speed is so quick. If you look at the way Manny Pacquiao's body is built, and I did a video about a year and a half ago on the Manny Pacquiao diet, or the Filipino diet, and why is it that Manny Pacquiao possesses such humongous calves. And from what I found out is that he has a diet that is rich and high carb, high protein type of diet. The Filipino diet is high carb, high protein, period, because they eat a lot of fish, they eat a lot of rice, and I think those things contributed to his legs blowing up. Now, it wasn't just the foods that he was eating that gave him this tremendous punching power. It was the fact that he's a avid runner. It's the fact that he plays basketball. So he does a lot of things that involve his leg muscles. Now, is that what gives Errol Spence Jr. his punching power? No, it doesn't. Is that what gives Terence Crawford his punching power? No, it doesn't. They get punching power in totally different ways than what Manny Pacquiao used to get his punching power. Now, if you broke down Terence Crawford's punching power and his punching power abilities, you would have to say that Terence Crawford's punching power comes more from speed, switching angles, footwork. And you would have to say Errol Spence's punching power. You would have to say that Errol Spence's punching power comes more from positioning, throwing, a certain punch at a certain moment, you know, at a certain time, because he knows that he set you up for that punch. And precision punching. Now, precision punching, I think, is where his punching, precision punching and positioning is why he can break bones the way he does. The reason he can break bones is the way he does is because of precision punching and positioning. Now, he puts himself in a position to throw a precise punch. And when you do that, you can break bones very easily because you're targeting a certain body part. Now, I know y'all want to know what I mean by that. Okay, let's say I want to break your jawbone, but I'm just throwing random punches and I'm not being precise with where I'm placing those punches. I'm throwing punches here, I'm throwing punches here, I'm throwing punches here, I'm throwing punches here, but I'm trying to break your jawbone. Now, if I place myself in a specific position and I am extremely precise with where I'm throwing that punch at, I can break your jawbone quicker than somebody who has quick hands and is just throwing a bunch of random punches. Now, if I place myself in a position and I throw a punch directly here, and I'm doing it multiple times directly here, and I know exactly where I want this punch to land directly here, eventually it's going to break your jawbone. If I throw 5 or 10 punches exactly on that same spot with all my power from a precise position, eventually is going to break your jawbone. Now, you can do the same thing with speed punches. As long as you have enough power to deliver bone-breaking punches. If you have the power to deliver those bone-breaking punches, you can do the same thing with speed punches, because that's how Manny Pacquiao broke down a lot of his opponents. It had nothing to do with being precise or throwing punches from specific positions. Manny Pacquiao was more of, I'm going to move really quickly, I'm going to throw punches while I'm moving, and I'm going to throw those with all my might. And because he's so quick with the feet, he's so quick with the hands, and he's so awkward with the angles, it was hard for certain fighters to pinpoint the positioning that he was trying to get in, because there was no positioning he was trying to get in. He was just making random moves, so they were unpredictable, which made him a great puncher because you never knew where those punches were coming from. Errol Spence is very, very different. Terence Crawford is very, very different. Terence Crawford doesn't possess the foot speed Manny Pacquiao had, so it would be hard for him to ever land those devastating punches that Manny Pacquiao was landing. On top of that, Terence Crawford doesn't have the massive calf muscles that Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's calf muscles are probably twice the size of the average person his height. And Manny Pacquiao possessed, I think, quicker hands than Terence Crawford as well. So if you had to break down all of those intangibles and say, you know, who has the best punching power out of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, obviously you're going to go with Errol Spence Jr. Obviously he's the bigger body. Obviously he should be able to generate more force behind his punches. But the body mass and body size doesn't always equate to hard punches. You know, I don't think Keith Thurman's an extremely hard puncher. I think Keith Thurman's more of a breakdown fighter. He uses positioning and specific punches to break you down, but it's not really with super duper power. And even though he's one of the biggest welterweights, the same thing goes for Ordanius Ugas. He doesn't have super knockout power, but that looping punch, after it lands about 15 times, is going to start to have an effect on you. So it's not always body mass that makes you an extremely hard puncher or gives you extreme punching power. And I think that's what Terence Crawford lacks is in the punching power department. But he makes up for punching power by having speed, by having angles, although not the Pacquiao speed or angles. He possesses that in his own way. How much will will punching power play a role when these two guys get it on in November? I think as long as Errol Spence comes out and sticks to his game plan, which is work off the jab, and he gets Terence Crawford into certain positions to land precise punches, he's going to break Terence Crawford down after 3, 4, 5 rounds of landing those precise punches. On the Terence Crawford side, I think as long as if he can build his foot speed up to that Manny Pacquiao level before the fight, then he could give Spence a whole lot of trouble just with his foot speed. He doesn't even have to have the hand speed of a Manny Pacquiao, because he already has decent hand speed. But if he was to build his foot speed up and be able to use those weird angles, those unpredictable angles that Manny Pacquiao possesses, then I think he could give Errol Spence extreme trouble in November when they face off. But who do I think is going to actually game plan better for this fight? And who do I think is going to utilize punching power more in this fight? It's obviously going to be Errol Spence Jr. And I think Errol Spence Jr. is going to win the fight. And I think it's going to be because he broke Terence Crawford down with punching power. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're more than likely to get a response on YouTube. So holler at me over there if you want a response. I think I'm done rambling for now. It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And I think we are out of here.
I wake up and go pick them sticks up.